Welcome back. This is part 1, video 2 of my green guide. In this video, we'll be talking about power cards. Green starts the game with 4 power cards. One is a utility, one is a defensive utility card, one is an offensive, and lastly, one is a control. Let's start off looking at Green's most powerful card, and that is Gift of Proliferation. This is a moon plant card that says target spirit adds 1 presence up to 1 range from one of their presence. What this card does is it allows another spirit to, in quotes, we just say proliferate, I guess. Proliferate. If I can write my T, there we go. So what that means is they place a presence from their track onto the board. This is one of the most powerful effects in the game because it allows that spirit to get ahead on its tracks relative to where it was balanced. For instance, if Lure plays, let's say, presence from bottom track turn 1, and then gets proliferated on turn 1, then on turn 2, they can place a presence and now unlock 3 card plays. Without Gift of Proliferation, at best, they would be at 2 card plays. So this would enable them an additional card play on that turn 2. In addition, it sets them up such that they can reach 4 and 5 card plays a lot sooner than they normally would have. This is just a very small example. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying that this is what proliferation is, and it's very powerful. This card also combos with plenty of other spirits. I think we'll talk more about that actually in the combos video, so I won't get into that. But the moon plant enables your right innate. You'll notice that your left innate. You'll notice that your left innate requires 1 moon, 2 plant, and then it goes up by increments of 1 for each threshold by 1 moon and 1 plant. These plants aren't that important because you have 2 plants on your tracks, which means you really only need 2 plant cards out of your 4 card plays to really max out this innate. However, you will need a lot of moon. If you are playing solo, this card allows you to proliferate yourself. In some of the games, I will use this on myself just to show you how strong it can be. In other games, I just will play this card just for the elements, just to show you that green doesn't actually need this extra proliferate. And this extra proliferate just puts green further ahead. Looking at the next card, we have Overgrown the Knight. This is a moon plant card. Once again, it's going to allow us to hit our left innate. And this card it's a target yourself, and this card allows you to place 1 presence from your tracks onto the board. So this is your proliferation card. This is your, in quotes, backup proliferation card if you're playing solo. Overgrown the Knight also has this extra fear clause. Most of the time, you will never play this card for fear. Very rarely do I use this card for fear. That's just because once you've gotten to a point in the game where you've proliferated enough on your board, you just will replace this card, and you're just not going to play a card that costs 2 energy to give you 3 fear. There is minor cards in the minor card deck that allow you to get 3 fear for 0 energy, so why would you pay 2? Looking at green's weakest card, we have Stem the Flow of Fresh Water, and this is a water plant card that allows us to do 1 damage to buildings, and then if the target land is mountain sands, we get to do 1 damage to each building in that land. What's important is that water plant, and that's important for hitting our right innate here, which is our defensive innate. One of the combos that Stem is used for is what you'll do is you'll choose a land, let's say it's a sands, we'll use this to damage all of the buildings in that land, and then we'll use 2 ticks on our left innate to do 1 damage to 1, 2, 3, depending on how many thresholds you have, damage to buildings in that land. So in France, you'll see me have a land like this, right? 2 towns and explore. I'll use Stem targeting that land, damaging both of those buildings, and then I'll use 2 tiers of creepers to kill the remaining buildings. Or not to kill the remaining, but to do that additional points of damage to actually clear the land. It is a very weak card because it's a zero energy card That's the best part about it. But it's a Sacred Site card that does 1 damage. And you'll notice that you have multiple cards, Choke the Land with green, your Defensive Innate, and this card that are all Sacred Site targeting powers, and you're basically getting pulled in multiple directions, and it's very hard to utilize this card because of your special rule and also your Defensive Innate. It's kind of both. You'll see in my games, I'll point out where like we're very limited, and I don't actually have that Sacred Site needed for this card. The last card is my favorite card that green has, and that is Fields Choked with Growth. That allows you to, it's a sun water plant. Once again, hitting that red innate, it gives us that sun needed for sun majors. And it's a push a town or push 3 Dahan. So you either push that town out if it's in a problem land, or you push those Dahan out to help create favorable counterattacks. Looking at some minor cards that combo well with green, I only took 3 out of the entire deck. There are plenty of cards that green loves picking up. Any cards that enable your innates, of course. Defensive cards are very strong, like Sap, Carapace Land. Support cards like Gift of Constancy, Nature's Connection, incredible cards on green. Cards that add bad lands like Sear Anger. These are the 3 that I think stand out because they can do really powerful things. So let's first look at the most simple of the 3, and that's Gift of Power. And this is a quad element. It enables both innates max. It's 0 energy, and it allows you to give power cards out. It's a support card that hits both innates, and it's free. Very, very powerful. The next card we're going to look at is Twin Days. Twin Days is used because it enables a combo with Gift of Proliferation. You can play both of these cards, and then you can give out a second gift. And then in the end game, you can combo Twin Days with Stem. Remember, Stem allows you to do 1 damage to all buildings in a mountain or sands. When you have Twin Days, it enables this card twice. And you can fully clear lands with this combo, as well as give Twin Days out to another player. Now, if you're playing solo, now all of a sudden you get to do Stem 3 times. You get to have that solo bonus, and you can fully clear a land against any adversary outside of England, and then some cases in Habsburg. Lastly, green's most powerful minor card that you can pick up, and that's Sky's Herald. It's a 4-element card, and it's on element for for moon and plant. And what this card does is it says is a spirit with presence on target board may add 1 of their destroyed presence. That is going to combo with our Choke the Lands with green. Remember, this special rule here, we're destroying presence to stop both builds and ravage actions. This allows us to add an extra presence every turn that we play this card to the board. And that's the best part about it, but also it's a Dahan movement, so it combos with your red innate, and it's a blight pushing, so now you can enable, or you can push blight out of problem lands, or you can push blight into lands that you're going to heal with your defensive innate. And it's sun and plant, which sets you up for my favorite major in the game, Vigor of the Breaking Game. So Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. Once again, it's a 3/2 threshold, and Sky's Herald gives you that sun animal, which means all you need is a sun plant, just a sun card. If only we had that, and we do. We have a sun water plant. So with these 3 cards, you can threshold Vigor. And now if you look at your tracks, let's just say, I'm just going to take a bunch of presents off our track. If you look here, when you have your 2 plant from your tracks, plus you have these 3 cards, look at your 1 water and your 1 moon away from hitting your tier 2 of either of your innates. So you have your fast Dahan movement to combo with your Vigor, and then you have your slow Dahan movement to set up for whatever you need. Vigor is a very powerful card, as you know, but green is one of the spirits that can actually use it, because who would have guessed green is a sun animal spirit. Okay, so we talked about the 3 minors in the deck that I really love with green. Once again, there's tons of other minors that are great, but these are the 3 that really stand out as being very unique with green. Lastly, I'm going to look at a couple majors that I also enjoy picking up when I'm playing green. My favorite is actually Entwined Power. Entwined Power is one of the best majors in the game. And it says that you and target spirit may use each other's presence for target power or for target powers. And so that really doesn't matter as much. It's more the rest of the card, which says that target spirit gains a power card, and then you also get to gain one that they do not keep. So for this card, we get 2 power cards get added to the team, and the threshold is a 2/4, which is a free threshold for green. We basically hit this on, well, we can hit it on 2 card plays, but it's just very easy based on our hands. In addition, it's a tri-element card, and it's moon, water, plant, which are the 3 elements that you care most about. So when you play this card, you're giving the team 6 energy and 2 power cards, and then you also have you have shenanigans where you can swap cards and you can do silly stuff where you can give like Overgrow to another player so then they can keep proliferating themselves, and there's really crazy things that can happen when this card is played. Green is one of the best spirits to pick up this card, and whenever I pick it up, it just feels very busted. It's a lot of fun too, though. Looking at some of the other majors, I just have good green cards. These cards are just great on any spirit, but on green, they're just even better. We have Trees and Stones. It's just a 2 energy Dahan Defend. Trees Radiate. It's a 2 element. It's a moon plant. It's a defend card. Pretty easy for us to threshold. Walls and Rock. Once again, just another defend card. Blazing Renewal brings back Destroy Presence. It combos because remember we're destroying a ton of presence. And finally, Jungle Hungers. It's a 3 energy, basically destroy all, because that threshold is quite easy for us to get. There are plenty of other majors that green can also utilize, but these are just 6 that really stand out for me. That concludes this video. In the next video, we'll be talking about green's openings. See you then.